I don't know if I'm in the right place or not. Dick Obert told me I had to pick one word to describe Lou, say it, and sit down. I guess I was the only one who got that memo. And Joe has used a word which I'm going to use in a completely different sense, because I did think a lot about the one word that I would pick, and you've heard a lot of words to describe Lou. After lengthy consideration, I suggest the word should be sleeper. Now, not in the sense that Joe used it, but in the sense well known in the parlance of the intelligence trade. Sleepers are agents who are put in place by their sponsors to acquire jobs and identities, ideally ones that'll prove useful in the future, and they attempt to blend into everyday life as normal citizens. It's possible that a sleeper agent might be successful enough to become what is sometimes termed an agent of influence. It's now clear to me that Lou is a sleeper in the intelligence sense. He was sent to New Hampshire by the forces of progress. His long-term mission was to subvert the status quo and cause things to change. Cleverly, he inserted himself into an organization founded by establishment mandarins, then, bit by bit, turned it to his objectives. He found willing Confederates who assisted him and gradually transformed the organization into a well-oiled mechanism to pursue those objectives, all the while soothing that same establishment so well that it willingly, no, eagerly, increased the organization's resources 20-fold. Only once in 24 years did he nearly blow his cover. He had taken a sabbatical and gone to California, where he momentarily yielded to temptation. He joined a picket line of striking Safeway workers. Luckily, for him, YouTube had not been yet invented. So the only person from here who knew about it was one of his willing Confederates. I'm proud to say that I was that willing Confederate. But since he thinks his job is done, we are wondering about that, but he thinks it's done, it's time his real story was told. So thank you, Lou, for sleeping through these 24 years and in the process, waking up the rest of us.
Well, like Marty, my invitation suggested that we seize upon one word to describe Lou. My reaction, mission impossible. Running the rapids of the Ammonoosuc or scaling the summit of Mount Washington during a microburst would be easier. I considered leadership, for Lou's is extraordinary, or friend, for he is and has many. Then I thought of passion, which propels him to tireless efforts to improve the common good. And then there was compassion, which he has in great measure. Ultimately, though, I thought of Squam. Yes, Squam, as in the lake. For it was at Squam, during Socratic-like board retreats, where colleagues and I were privileged to glimpse the depth and soul of this Renaissance man. At Squam, in the reflection of the ideas and majestic mountains upon the deep, still waters of the lake and call of the loons, the image of Lou, emerging from his solitary early morning swims, compelled one to witness the oneness of this place we call New Hampshire and this man, and to be forever grateful that this unlikely New Yorker chose, in the spirit of frost, to take the road less traveled by and call New Hampshire home. for that has made all of the difference.
Lou is nodding his head, saying that's enough. Actually, Bonnie, I was going to put a different twist on that Frost poem and say that Lou wouldn't have taken either of the two roads, but he would have blazed his own, trusting his own compass, and many of us would follow. With that, let's move to